Former Love Island contestant Bethany Rogers has described the drug addiction and abusive relationship hell she suffered after appearing on the show. The 27-year-old appeared on the first series of ITV's hit dating program in 2015, where she was portrayed as an aggressive monster almost from the start, following an early altercation with a fellow female contestant. The mother of one claims producers directed contestants to certain situations in order to stir the pot and manipulated them to fit their narrative. Bethany, who was booted from the show after 10 days, was stunned to discover hundreds of violent abusive messages on social media from trolls on her exit. It ultimately led to her losing everything. There was so much trolling and malicious remarks, even death threats. I was literally shocked when I watched the show and saw how it'd been portrayed. They'd made me out to be so aggressive, she told The Sun. She added that aftercare didn't exist in those days and that she was left to fend for herself mentally in the aftermath. Even old school friends who I hadn't spoke to in years, or people I didn't even know, were writing detrimental things about me that affected my mental health, Bethany continued. I know I have a big heart. I'm not evil. I'm not nasty. I've got a lot of love to give. I'm not this monster that they made me out to be. I'm certainly not a bully. I just felt so betrayed by the whole scenario. I was still only a teenager. After losing her self-worth as a result of the torment, Bethany turned to drugs, specifically ketamine, and found herself in a violent relationship as she struggled to cope. She was later accused, but subsequently acquitted, of money laundering in a court case that spanned 4 years, which has only recently concluded. Bethany was also given an absolute discharge on one remaining count of possessing 134 milligrams of ketamine, which her lawyer said should have been dealt with via a caution years ago. Prior to entering Cosa Amor, she worked as a dancer, performer and fire breather in and around Leeds before being contacted on Facebook about appearing on a new show. 7 years on from that appearance, Bethany has now decided to speak up about her ordeal, revealing that as a late arrival on the show, producers ordered her to stir up trouble. She claims she was thrust onto the set late at night when all the early contestants were intoxicated. Describing chaos throughout the villa, Bethany said one contestant had thrown up all over herself, whilst another approached her and had a go at her, which got her defenses up. What doesn't add up for Bethany, however, is the fact that after leaving on good terms, having generally got on well with everyone, all footage that producers aired of her was negative and aggressive. Feeling low, Bethany entered into a relationship with Lawrence Edwards, who she says beat me regularly for over a year and domestically abused me to the point that I felt I had to run for my life. It was at this time that, along with Edwards, she was accused of buying an Audi A3 with criminal money, which ultimately led to the money laundering case. As her problems escalated, despite having evidence of being beaten black and blue by Edwards, Bethany chose not to press charges against him out of the fear for her own safety. She managed to escape the relationship soon afterwards, however. With the date in court looming and a feeling of isolation, she then turned to ketamine as a coping mechanism. But after becoming pregnant sometime later and giving birth to a baby girl, she sought help to overcome the addiction. She then entered rehab 9 months later, forcing her to leave her child behind, which she described as mental torture. things finally began to improve for the former Miss Leeds in 2020 when charges against her were dropped. Edwards soon changed his plea to guilty on the charges of perverting the course of justice and acquiring or using criminal property, but is yet to be sentenced. Bethany, meanwhile, now studies psychology at university and aims to help others who have experienced similar traumas.